All right, season 2, episode 1 of Loki has dropped, and I just wanted to give my quick little opinion here. But first, let me tell you that I was a pretty big fan of the first season. It wasn't my favorite of the MCU Disney Plus series, but I did rather enjoy Tom Hiddleston in it. I wasn't a huge fan of some of the side storylines that they went down in it, but overall, I'm a big fan of time travel, timelines, multiverse, all that sort of stuff. And as you well know, I'm a huge fan of the MCU as a whole. So I was very much looking forward to the drop of episode 1. I've been waiting all week, gearing up for it, and here we are. We got it. And they're doing that different kind of release now, the 9 p.m. Eastern time release that they're trying out. I don't know why this is, why we're going back to this pre-streaming model of dropping at a specific time in the evening, but whatever. Here we are. It builds anticipation. I guess it's fun. Whatever. I was perfectly fine with the midnight releases. I wish they would get on schedule though, with like hey, all the MCU shows are gonna drop on this day of the week, because they've been switching it, or all the Star Wars shows are going to drop on this day of the week. It would be a lot more convenient if they could get that straight, especially since I do a weekly podcast covering the shows. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Episode 1 did not blow my skirt up. I gotta say, man. Honestly, it kind of felt like what you would get in the middle of a series, maybe a longer series, maybe a 10 or 12 episode series. Kind of felt almost like a filler episode. It felt like a bit of a tease. Now, I'm not going to judge, what's to come based on this first episode. I very much think that they're going to get to the point in terms of storytelling. But this episode basically just had this big MacGuffin, this problem that needed solved of Loki is time slipping, and before they can move any further along with the plot storyline, what's going on with Sylvie, what's going on with the TVA, with Kang, any of that stuff, they've got to solve this problem, and that takes up the entire episode. And it just sucked because we're looking forward to, everyone's like wondering what's going to happen now that the timelines have branched out and there's so many timelines, and Kang is free and there's going to be multiple Kangs. How is this gonna happen? And what is Sylvie doing? Is she running the timeline now? Is she overseeing the timeline? Is she he who remains, or she who remains now? But we didn't get that. We didn't get that in the first episode. We basically just got a reintroduction to the characters, which really didn't reintroduce them. We didn't get any new information. You need to have watched season 1 to at all enjoy any of this first episode of season 2. But we didn't really get back into telling this story. We had to solve this problem of Loki time slipping. I did enjoy the inclusion of Quan in this episode. I thought it was clever, him having such a big part in everything, everywhere, all at once, and then them kind of scooping him up to be in another multiverse type of outing like this. I thought that was clever. I thought it was, when I saw him, I immediately kind of smiled and was like, I see what they're doing here. I enjoyed that very much. And Tom Hiddleston is always fantastic. Like, his acting is so fantastic. He's got this character nailed. Owen Wilson is always funny. But the story that they told in this first episode of we got to get Loki to stop time slipping, and it was so convoluted, right? This is how we get him to stop time slipping. We got to do this thing and this, that, and it was a little much. It was a little heavy. It was a little heavy with the fake science tech words. It felt a little convoluted, right? I was not a huge fan of this first episode. Like I said, the performances were great. That little post-credit scene with Sylvie going to a 1982 Oklahoma McDonald's. I don't know why Oklahoma. Maybe that will be significant later down the road, or maybe I just missed something. But I get what she's doing. I get this, like, she ends it by saying, I want to try everything. I get that. She was like this sheltered version of Loki in her life, and she did not get to experience things. And so she's very much wanting to experience all that life has to offer. So, kind of cool. But that's like the furthest we got in furthering this story in this episode. So I hope they end up telling a good story with season 2. I hope we get to see a little Jonathan Majors Kang. I want them to move this thing along, and using the first out of only 6 episodes to do this kind of little side story, not kicking it off too well, in my opinion. Very much look forward to next week. Very much look forward to this series kind of ramping up. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Or if you're listening in podcast form, you can hit me up at Real Brett Scott on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much everywhere. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, leave your opinion below. I'd love to start a conversation. I love talking all this stuff. Love talking entertainment and pop culture in general. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, please subscribe for more, or you can go follow my Marvel Plus podcast, which will be a much more in-depth look at this episode. I'll be dropping in a couple days. So if you're interested in that, please go check it out. And if you do decide to stick around and subscribe here to Daily BS, or subscribe to the podcast, then I will talk to you again very soon. Thanks.